on. This is not on connected to anything. I mean, it's on.
What? Check. Well, yeah, earlier today. Check. Check one, check. Karen? Check one, check, check. We don't have heart. Check. Check one, check. So is that online? Check one. Check, check, check. It's coming through. Why? But it's not coming. What happened? Sure. Oh, you want to know why? Because why would these not be on?
Hi, Tim. Micah thinks he did something before you left because now there's no sound.
No, no, it was the speakers. Check, check one. Yep. The speakers were not turned on. My guitar went, but I guess that's. Check one.
It is a holy night. We hope you appreciate our humor. The holy night of Shabbat, and as always, each week it is nice to be together to welcome in Shabbat, our weekly gift of peace and holiness and rest and joy. And welcome to those joining us from home. For those in our sanctuary, normally we would come down, but we're to sing without our masks on. We're staying up here. So we're looking forward to celebrating Shabbat ahead. We're going to invite Lynn and Shira to bring in our light of Shabbat on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chaber shel Shabbos.
Amen. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We'll turn to page 20 as we welcome in the Shabbat bride with Lecha Dodi. for our call to prayer, page 28. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Page 30, join in our prayer for the evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom u'mevi layla, uma'avdil ben yom u'ven layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And I invite you to join with me in the English on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. May be seated. We'll continue on page 36. Meyer, do you want to make it 2 weeks in a row? You can join us. It's good practice. As Meyer's preparing to become bar mitzvah, we'll join together in these words from Torah. Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ugshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu ledodafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lemon tizkeru vashitam et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti atchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. Asher koach. We'll join together on page 40 as we sing our Song of the Sea, and this week we also begin the book of Exodus, retelling our story of our journey from slavery to freedom. page 43. Let's join it together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. We began our service by recognizing the holiness of this night. We sing Vishamru on page 44, words from Torah that remind us again of sanctifying the seventh day. Into our central prayer, Elah, page 46. We'll begin all together and take a little time then for our own personal prayer. We'll rise at this time.
Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, הנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Continue silently and feel free to be seated when you're ready. May the one who makes peace above bring peace here amongst all of us. New on page 62.
turn our thoughts now to health and healing. You can find the words of Misha Berach on page 253. Take this time to pray for members of our community who are ill. Especially are thinking of Cullen Monroe, Mary Lou Houle, Janet Watson, Paul Robillard, Elizabeth Hill, Enrico Mascaro, Deborah Booker, Amy Scythe, Robert Bloom, Annalise Stone, Benjamin Horowitz, Bradley Dichter, Matteo Goldman, Toby Weiner, Esya Rushavskaya, Amy Fasberg Kurtz, Eileen Arnone, Marilyn Breyer, Jean Sands, Roseanne Cohen, Doug Cohen, Tom Fiorino, Barry Levine, Amy Cook, Carolyn Weil, Gary Baccalar, John G., Stephanie Davidson, Nick Fior. If there are other names you'd like to mention, you may do so. Although I don't really like eating fortune cookies, I always appreciate the moment of mystery, opening one up to see my fortune. So let's see. The hidden message is, interesting, you are magnetic in your bearing. Okay, you are magnetic in your bearing. Well, it makes sense that our take-home oneg tonight is fortune cookies, so you will all get to take one and read your fortune, as this helps us fulfill the ancient Jewish ritual of Chinese food on Christmas. I can hardly remember a time growing up when our family didn't eat Chinese food and go to the movies on Christmas. As I got older, I started to realize this was an identifying mark of being Jewish in America. You may have seen the Atlantic magazine article which described this aspect of Jewish culture as follows. For many Jewish Americans, the night before Christmas conjures up visions not of sugar plums, but plum sauce slattered over duck or an overstocked plate of lo mein, a platter of General Chow's chicken, and maybe some hot and sour soup. After a month of listening to Christmas music everywhere, after weeks of avoiding stores because of frenzied Christmas shopping, Jews can finally emerge and enjoy a simple ethnic meal with other minorities that help make this country great. Jews enjoying Chinese food on Christmas is a relatively known phenomenon. You may recall during Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan's 2010 confirmation hearing that Senator Lindsey Graham paused to ask Kagan where she had spent the previous Christmas. To great laughter from all, she replied, "You know, like all Jews, I was probably at a Chinese restaurant." And Senator Chuck Schumer jumped in to explain, "No other restaurants are open." It turns out that Schumer's declaration touched upon the historical, sociological, and religious circumstances behind this Jewish experience of Christmas in America. The story began during the heyday of the Lower East Side in New York at the turn of the 20th century. Jews and Chinese people were the two largest non-Christian immigrant groups. The Atlantic column notes, while it's true that Chinese restaurants were notably open on Sundays and during holidays when other restaurants were closed, these two groups were linked not only by proximity, but also by our shared otherness. Jewish affinity for Chinese food reveals a lot about our immigration history and what it's like to be outsiders. The whole experience of eating out was new to Jewish immigrants in the early 1900s. And in some ways, Chinese restaurants, which typically excluded dairy from its dishes, allowed Jews an easy passage into the world beyond kosher food at home. And pork, well, it's typically hidden in Chinese food. I remember this from my own home growing up. While there was some semblance of Jewish dietary observance at home, there was an anything goes attitude at a Chinese restaurant. I'm guessing that sounds familiar. But more than allowing Jews to eat foreign cuisine in a safe way, the culinary phenomenon that started over a century ago managed to grow into a national ritual that is uniquely American and Jewish. As we know, Jewish experience has always evolved with the times and the influence of surrounding cultures and practices. In some ways, Jews in America may identify more with Chinese food than gefilte fish. Perhaps a wonton is preferred over the similar Eastern European kreplach. The Atlantic article concludes, over the centuries, different religious customs have sprung up and new spiritual rituals have taken root, many of which draw on the past. Jewish Christmas in many ways could very much be seen as a modern affirmation of faith. After all, there are few days that remind American Jews of their Jewishness more than Christmas in the United States. This statement gets to the core of our experience, and I would agree. I am personally especially reminded of my Jewishness during the Christmas season, which seems to start earlier and earlier each year. I am reminded that I am different, and I would invite you to think about these questions. How do we feel about our otherness? Do we try to blend in? Do we take pride in standing out? The season can present challenges as well as opportunities for strengthening one's Jewish identity. Of course, Jewish tradition affirms diversity and difference in practice. On Passover, we ask, why is this night different from all other nights? And during Hanukkah, we might ask, how is our light different from other lights? It is a blessing to be different. So while some of us tonight or tomorrow might simply enjoy Chinese food, the fried rice might also be a reminder to celebrate how our Jewish identity has evolved throughout history and here in America. Finally, our Torah portion for this Shabbat, Shemot, emphasizes this message of maintaining identity. With this parasha, we begin the book of Exodus. We read and retell our story of being slaves and becoming free, our master narrative of becoming the Jewish people and keeping faith in dark times. The Parsha opens, "These are the names, Ve'ela Shemot, of the children of Israel who came to Egypt." And Midrash points out the significance of the Israelites keeping their Hebrew names. The Midrash asks, why did God redeem the Israelites from slavery in Egypt? And the rabbis answered, because of three things. They kept their names, their language, and their dress. In other words, our ancestors dared to be different and embrace their otherness. For this reason, our people not only survive, but merit redemption, God's faith in us. In this parasha, when Moses encounters God in the burning bush, God reveals God's name as Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh, meaning I am what I am, or more closely in the Hebrew, I will be who I will be. God's name becomes an invitation to all of us to continue to evolve and adapt, which is what we do today. The Shabbat that occurs on Christmas is a reminder to celebrate our culture and our traditions, not only this season, but throughout the year. And especially during this season, we can enjoy egg rolls and fortune cookies that go along with our amazingly wonderful, evolving Jewish identity. Shabbat Shalom. You will see on your way out, you can take a fortune cookie or two or three, because I think we may have extras. And I will just share, I'll thank the, if I should say this on live stream, but the Wild Blossom Restaurant for giving us these fortune cookies after I tried to explain the purpose and that this was for a synagogue. The woman who was helping did not know what a synagogue was, so I tried to explain it's kind of like church for Jewish people. She still didn't understand. I tried to explain the custom of Jews eating Chinese. She had no idea. Anyway, I think they may have gotten a little education.
Can I actually make it?
I did not mention that I'm a rabbi.
Can I make a comment on your lovely Devar Torah?
Sure.
And timely, and I think you'll resonate with this because Karen was trying to get, we're going to supplement some of our dinner tonight with some Chinese food from Wild Blossom down the street, but Karen could not get through. And I know for a fact there are not that many Jews in Westwood all calling Wild Blossom, so maybe the traditions are circular, and many Christian families are taking in Chinese food, and they don't even know why, because the Jew. Anyway,
Actually, it's true because I spoke to our neighbor today. He had no idea why, but I basically gave him my sermon. It was a practice run.
Anyhow,
so.
it's interesting how things get shared.
Yes. You can continue to celebrate Shabbat tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with our lay-led minyan on Zoom. To all of our temple families who may be celebrating Christmas tonight, especially just affirming our interfaith families, we hope it's a good celebration with extended family. It is a quieter week at Temple Beth David, so our office is closed this week. Next Shabbat, next Friday night, 6:30, will be a remote service only, so you can access it through Zoom and a live stream, just not in person. So hopefully we'll look forward to joining you from home. Anything else? We will move into our concluding prayers. You can find Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282, and we rise. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Atei Gedula L'Yotzer Breshit, Shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, Velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, Vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, V'anachnu korim, Umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech hakol haaretz, Bayom hahu
Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Going to remain standing as we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish. We're going to continue right now on page, oh, there it goes. I got it.
294.
Think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning and remembrance for Elaine Miller, wife of Jim Miller, and David Flores, nephew of Joy Albion. And it's the yard site in this Shabbat of Ann F. Brody, Ruth Ann Borofsky, Harold Brown, Alan Ellenberg, Sophie Gottlieb, Norma Kaplow, Esther Levine, Morton Schaefer, Robert Wiseman, and Ruth Ann Weisel. And if you're remembering anyone this Shabbat, whether you're joining us by live stream or here in the sanctuary, I invite you to share your loved one's name at this time. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, ve'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. We say amen. You're welcome to be seated as we turn to our closing hymn. We're going to turn to page 321 for Adon Olam, which is an ancient medieval piyut, so a liturgical poem that often speaks of our understanding of God and the Jewish tradition, the notion that God is, God was, God will be, and that we put our souls, we put our spirits into God's hands. I will admit I have a favorite melody at this season, which fortunately for Adon Olam, you can sing it to so many different melodies, and it's been sung to German drinking songs that we think of as traditional Adon Olam melodies, to
Yankee Doodle.
What's that?
Yankee Doodle.
To Yankee Doodle, Rock Around the Clock. You name it, if it's in 4/4, more or less, you can sing it to Adon Olam. And it's just certainly a reminder as we think about what makes us distinct as Jews, how there's a conversation of culture wherever we've lived. We borrow melodies, others borrow melodies from us, and it speaks to our shared humanity, certainly. So we will end with this melody for Adon Olam.
And thank you to Sandra Gale for greeting, Harvey for live stream, and Lynn and Shira Kaminsky for blessing our candles. We appreciate the group effort tonight.
Adon Olam
Shalom asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'it nasa b'chefso kol azai melech shemoni. You'll have to let us know your fortune. See if you can beat "You are magnetic in your bearing." Shabbat shalom, everyone.